Have you ever stopped to think about this? That there's a story about you being told even when you're not around? It kind of walks into a room long before you even get there. Well, in this explainer, we're going to dive into a really fascinating sermon that tackles that exact idea, the power of your reputation and the incredible ripple effect of everything you do.
So, our source kicks off with this really powerful line from an ancient letter. And get this, the author, Paul, is writing to a whole community of people he's never even met. Just pause and think about that for a second. We're talking no internet, no social media, absolutely nothing like we have today. And yet, the story of their character, their faith, their love for people, it traveled hundreds of miles. Their reputation was literally out there, living a life of its own.
Okay, so let's lock in on a definition here. The source material talks about gawahi, which is basically your testimony or witness. Think of it like this. Your reputation is the story people tell about you when you're not in the room. It's the buzz, right? The evidence of your character that people share with each other, for better or for worse.
So you might be wondering, how do you even build a reputation like that? Well, the source says it's not just random luck. It's actually built on a few key pillars. Let's get into what those are.
All right, so remember that opening verse? The sermon pulls three core things from it. First up is conviction. This is that deep, unwavering belief, the faith that really guides everything you do. Then there's service. This is about your readiness to actually help and support people, being there for your community. And finally, love. And we're not talking about some fake, for-show kind of thing. This is genuine care and compassion that people can actually feel. You put those three pillars together, and that's what creates a story worth telling.
Okay, now for the really interesting part, how these stories actually spread. It's one thing to have these pillars, but it's another for that story to travel. The source gives us some amazing examples of reputations that just took off like wildfire, changing how whole nations saw someone.
Let's look at King Solomon. You've probably heard the story, right? Two women, both claiming to be the mother of the same baby. Solomon's solution was, well, it was brilliant. He says he's going to cut the baby in half. And just like that, the real mother's love shines through. Now, this wasn't just some clever courtroom decision. No way. This single act of wisdom became a legend. It turned into a national story that spread to every single corner of Israel.
And that right there just shows you how far a reputation can reach. Solomon's story didn't just stop at the border. It traveled so far that the Queen of Sheba packed her bags and journeyed from another country just to see if the rumors were true. And the best part? She got there and was like, wow, the reality is even better than the incredible stories I heard.
Or how about David? After that incredible, shocking victory over Goliath, his reputation basically became a #1 hit single. Seriously, people were singing in the streets about him. Saul has slain his thousands and David his tens of thousands. With one single act of insane courage, he created a whole public narrative that totally defined who he was. But, and this is a really crucial point from the source, as your story gets bigger, it doesn't just create fans, it can also create a lot of friction. A strong reputation, it turns out, is a real double-edged sword.
So, on the one hand, you've got all the good stuff, the positive ripples we all want, right? People trust you, you have influence, new opportunities come your way. But there's another side. A strong reputation can also attract some pretty dark stuff. We're talking jealousy, nasty rumors, and just this intense scrutiny where every single thing you do is put under a microscope.
And the sermon gives us some really clear examples of this in action. Remember that hit song about David? Well, King Saul heard it and he was absolutely consumed with jealousy. The source also points to Jesus, who, despite his incredible reputation, faced a constant stream of false accusations. And then you have the Apostle Paul, who was always having to fight off rumors that he was betraying his own traditions. It's a tough lesson. Having a good story doesn't stop people from telling a bad one about you.
So, that leads to a huge question, doesn't it? If having a good reputation can actually attract all this negativity, what are you supposed to do about it? How do you handle it when other people are trying to hijack your story and rewrite it?
Well, the advice from the source is pretty straightforward, but that doesn't mean it's easy. It all comes down to this. You focus on your story. You double down on your character, on your consistency. The whole idea is that you live a life that is so true, so consistent, that the rumors just fall apart. They can't stand up against the weight of your real testimony, your gawahi. In the end, your actions have to be the loudest voice in the room. And that really brings us full circle, right back to our final takeaway. It's all about the personal story that each and every one of us is writing, day in and day out. The sermon leaves us with this incredible metaphor. It says your life is like an open letter, and everyone is reading it.
your coworkers, your family, your friends, your community. They are all constantly reading and interpreting the story that your actions, your words, and your character are telling. There's really no hiding it.
So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with this one question to think about. If your life is that open letter that everyone's reading, what's the headline? Is it a story about conviction, about service, about love? Because ultimately, the story that walks into the room before you, well, that's the one you are living right now. What's it saying?